East Germany was in a very interesting position in the 1980s. Rapid social, economic, and military changes happened during this era. It is then no wonder that the East German variant of the AKM is one of the most interesting small arms of the Cold War and the Warsaw Pact. East Germany produced many different varieties of AK platform rifle over its lifespan. However, for our reenactment purposes, we focused on using rifles from the 1960s to the 1980s. The name for the East German rifle variant of the AKM is the MPI-KM. Around 1966, East Germany started to produce the MPI-KM with all wood furniture. Later on, in 1968, they developed the MPI-KM with all plastic furniture. During the initial phase of production, the lower Bakelite handguards on these early rifles were found to be insufficient at handling heat, and often melted. Thus, the rifles from this period kept their wood lower handguards instead of the Bakelite ones. In 1972, East Germany developed the MPI-KM-72. These rifles had a different muzzle brake from the earlier MPI-KM rifles, and now featured a suitable Bakelite lower handguard instead of the wood ones. The MPI-KM-72, however, would not be seen as often as its earlier brother until around 1981. Because our unit is located in California, we were unable to get any real MPI-KM-72s or any other AK rifle. The next best option was to get airsoft AKMs and convert them to MPI-KM-72s. Our unit initially lacked a plan on how to go about doing this, but as a general idea, our goal was to not harm any original MPI-KM furniture in the conversion process. Here's our East German MPI-KM-72. After nearly 3 years of reenacting, we can finally say our AK problem is solved. Naturally, like most airsoft AKMs in the market, this AKM V2 by GHK came with a set of bright, glossy, and extremely red wood furniture, alongside a orange Fakelite pistol grip. Initially, we did not standardize on gas airsoft guns, or even one singular airsoft electric brand. For example, our unit leader bought a baseline LCT AKM, while I purchased an electric blowback Bolt AKM. Our initial choice to not go with gas guns nor standardized guns would lead us down a spiral of trying to find workarounds to make our AKs correct, alongside a lot of headaches due to dealing with parts that simply were not the same nor interchangeable. Once we had purchased our separate rifles, we then had to figure out a solution to the East German furniture problem. Unfortunately, electric airsoft AKMs have a significant difference in dimensions compared to real AKMs, especially around the pistol grip and buttstock areas. Thus, we could not use any of our original East German furniture, despite having plenty, because we did not want to permanently damage them. Eventually, using our original East German parts, we were able to 3D print replica East German furniture. This took a significant amount of tries and multiple failures just to get half-decent results, and even then we had issues. One of these issues was the pistol grip, as it was too complicated to reproduce effectively. We were stuck trying to figure out, work with, break in, fix, and fit these 3D printed parts. Even when these parts did fit after literal days of modification, they still did not look as nice as the original parts by any means. My unit leader changed his AK to a wood handguard MPI-KM, while my AK was turned to an MPI-KM-72. Both of these AKMs with 3D printed parts ended up being used front and center on our displays from June 2022 to November 2023 when they were finally phased out. In the end, they looked half decent, with my MPI-KM-72 3D printed AKM looking the best out of all of them. However, even during their time spent in use, we knew they were not good enough. Overall, the trouble of making, fixing, and adding 3D printed parts was just not worth it. As a unit, we cannot stress enough that using electric guns is not recommended whatsoever. If you want to make an East German AKM, modifying original parts will permanently ruin them, and some parts will simply just not fit. Similar fitment issues applied to our 3D printed furniture, even after large alterations. Essentially, try to avoid what looks to be the easy route on paper. Go for gas guns instead. So we scrapped the idea of using 3D printed replica furniture, despite our immense efforts in trying to make them work, and instead decided to work on making accurate gas AKMs with real furniture. Here's an overview of our GHK gas blowback AKM. We added many additions to the rifle. A pair of original night sights was added to the front and rear. We also added an original rear sight. All of these items take a bit of searching to find. The rear sight was found on Gunbroker, and changes style depending on the year of production for the rifle. The front and rear night sights were found on eBay, and still work, just not as well as they probably did in 1985. The night sights in the dark still provide some luminescence, however the sight picture is poor. Luckily, these sights can be flipped down in a matter of seconds without having to completely take off the device. Another notable fact about the GHK rifle is that unlike our electric guns, the GHK can actually fit bayonets without a modification. The rear of the bayonet must fit perfectly on the endpoint here. The ring on the bayonet that connects to the muzzle is the hardest part of the process. The fit is snug and will take some force to lock in, but they do fit and work. Naturally, for reenactment and airsoft purposes, do not attach the bayonet, but for display and photo ops, the bayonet looks amazing. To detach the bayonet, hold down the small button and push forward with the bayonet itself, towards the end of the rifle. This will require some force. The bayonet itself is probably one of the best designs out there, fairly lightweight and yet durable. The bayonet can also be pushed together with its scabbard on this mounting point to make basic wire cutters. Disassembly on the rifle is pretty basic and to the point. The only thing to note in regarding to difficulty is the dust cover. It oftentimes requires significant force to lock down. Typically just a slight smack on the top will do. Just like the rest of the gun, disassembly is very similar to a real-life AK. It should be noted that the GHK fit our real East German furniture without modification, and unlike the 3D printed furniture, the East German furniture is not fragile. Once again, it must be stressed that electric guns cannot fit original East German furniture like this GHK can. This is due to multiple issues, but mostly because electric guns have wider pistol grips and the stock mounting points are very different. Reassembly of the rifle is just a disassembly process in reverse, with a firmer lockdown on the dust cover itself. We also recommend covering or immediately wiping off the gun of any oil or grease that may touch the East German furniture during the cleaning process for this rifle, as the plastic could be damaged. As for rifle maintenance and safekeeping, it must be noted that this is a gas blowback rifle, and although we do not put that many rounds to the rifle due to being a reenactment group foremost, we still operate the bolt and use the gun from time to time. With that being said, this cannot be handled like a simple electric gun. We highly recommend checking out Explosive Enterprises videos regarding gas blowback maintenance and even the winter preparation videos. These videos will be linked in the description, however I will quickly mention one lubrication product here that works wonders. Super Lube is a grease that I found works wonders, far better than any form of oil. This keeps the gun protected to a fair degree. Personally, I apply the grease fairly thick, as I have found the AK has little issue dealing with a lot of grease. For more information, once again, check the video description. And although it might look cool to do so, we do not recommend using an original cleaning kit like this one while performing maintenance. This gun provides a special feeling, and this can be seen in the firing in slow motion footage. To conclude overall, our unit is extremely happy with our GHK AKM. Or should we say our GHK MPI KM72. Others have tried to make East German AKs before in Airsoft, but I think we have done the best so far. Naturally, thank you for watching. Please stop by our Instagram page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please do not hesitate to contact us if you wish to join our East and West German reenactment unit. And as always, have a lovely day.